Hello, my name is Riley Smith, and I'm part of the Global Partner Program and Operations team at Broadcom. Today, I'm going to be providing a video tutorial on the VMware by Broadcom deal registration process, in which I will cover how to access the deal registration platform, how to submit a deal registration through the deal registration tool, and how to manage submitted deal registrations as well. So since gaining access and navigating to the deal registration platform and tool is so important, let's start there and briefly touch on that process. So if you look here, we have 5 simple steps to access the deal registration platform and tool. Step 1, as a partner user, you need to complete the Okta user registration process. And as a reminder, you need to complete steps 6 through 10 in that document to make sure that you upgrade your profile to a partner user so you can access the deal registration platform and tool. Step 2, once you've completed the Okta registration process fully, go to the Broadcom Partner Portal by using the URL that you see linked here, and then select Explore on the VMware by Broadcom Division and Programs tile, and then navigate to the deal registration section and click on Enter the deal registration platform. You can see that in step 4. And then once you've launched into our deal registration platform, you'll see a tile titled Broadcom deal registration. From there, you can click on the Broadcom deal registration link. You can see that in step 5 on the right side of this slide. And then you will be kicking off the deal registration process at that point. If you have any issues getting through steps 1 through 5, as always, feel free to reach out to partner.helpdesk@broadcom.com. Okay, so now that we've found out how to access the deal registration platform and navigate to the tool, let's do a quick demonstration of how to submit a deal registration from there. So I am logged into the deal registration platform. We also have other capabilities and features on this platform. But for today's video tutorial, we'll specifically be looking at Broadcom deal registration. So like I said just a minute ago, if you click on the Broadcom deal registration link here, you'll then make your way to the first screen of submitting a deal registration, which is the end customer information screen. If you'll notice in this first box here, you can search by the customer's company name. And then recently we added by ERP ID. That's a unique ID to Broadcom for that customer. If you don't have that ID, you can get it 2 ways. You can reach out to Broadcom for that ID so you can look it up. You can also go to our new renewals dashboard and find that customer ERP ID if that customer has transacted with you previously. So for today's testing purposes, I'm just going to use a test account. And when I click the customer that I want to register the deal for, you'll notice that the customer details populate automatically. I don't need to edit these details at all. I just need to leave those fields alone. The next step is to click on Select Product Origin. For this video tutorial, we're looking at VMware, so I'm going to select VMware. I'll then be prompted with, is this a public sector deal? And I need to respond yes or no. That's for the customer. Are they in the public sector? Yes or no. For this demonstration, I'm going to select no, and then I'll click on submit. Once I click submit, I'll then make my way to this next screen here, which is the core part of the deal registration submission process and form. The first question here is the deal value. If I try to put in a deal value that is less than 25K, I'm going to get an error. All of our deal registrations for VMware need to be over 25,000 USD in total contract value. You'll see the end customer information that I selected on the previous screen. And then as we start to make our way down to the main part of the deal registration submission process, there's a few different areas here that we need to populate. First, end customer contact information. If I have that person's information, I can start to input that there. For this, I'm just going to use some test data. The next section is asking me as the partner if I'm the primary sales contact, yes or no. I'll say yes. And then the primary sales contact email, which is my email address. I'll now make my way down to the registration details section where we have a new field called deal type. In the deal type field, there's just a few different options here for you to select. You can select new customer, new product, migration, expansion, or renewal if it's in the public sector only. So I will select on new customer. I'll then go to the next section here, which is the contract number. So since this is a new customer, I wouldn't have a contract number. However, if I was selecting, let's say, migration or expansion, I would have a contract number. We also have some help text here to make sure you understand when you need to provide that contract number. For this next one here, any co-term contracts, since I don't have a contract number, I'm not going to select yes, I'll select no. And then I don't have any co-term contracts that I need to include. And now we get into what we're calling the value determination questions. This is something new that we just recently added in the US about a month ago, and we're adding it to the rest of the world on November the 11th. So the first question here is, if you have any existing contracts, ELAs with the end customer, please go ahead and list those out in a free text field. The next one is, please provide all of the Achieve VMware certifications and competencies. This again is a free text field. You then have this drop-down question, which is select all service capabilities that your company has. We have everything from deployment to managed services down to support services, and this is a multi-select field. I'll just click on two of those. And then the last question here is number of certified resources in country with applicable language capabilities. This again is just a free text, and I can throw a number into that field as well. So that is the new value determination questions that we've added to the form. And then we get into some familiar questions here around expected close date of the deal, the budget, if you know what the customer's budget is, and then the product family. So this is the list of all the eligible products that we have in our channel price list. And you can select as many of these product families as you would like in a multi-select fashion. This list will be slightly changing on November the 11th, but I just selected a few of those there. And then I make my way down to total license quantity. I can choose whatever quantity I would like. And then the term length of the deal in which I expect it to close. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 year. And then last, before I get into the next screen there, is the business justification or customer use cases that will help whoever's reviewing this, including a timeline of the deal. So I'll just put in some test information there as well. And then I'll click to accept our terms and conditions and click on continue. So I completed the deal registration form, and this next screen is just a summary overview of all of the responses that I input or selected. So if I review that and everything looks good, I can then go to submit deal registration. And I've successfully submitted my deal registration. I will receive a unique ID for that deal registration, and I'll notice here that the status is pending approval. And then we can go into the next part of the demo, which is how to manage your deal registration. So once I've submitted the deal registration, I can go back to my home page here in the deal registration platform, and I'm going to make my way to the Broadcom deal registration tile again. And I'm going to click on Broadcom Track Deals. And in this view, I can see all of the deal registrations that I've submitted. I can see the unique deal registration number, the end customer name, the deal value, the status, when it was last updated, and who created the deal registration as well. I can search for all of these different columns using this search field here. Can also search specifically by the end customer name, and then I can drill down into the specific deal status as well. There is one other functionality here where you can export this data into an Excel file by clicking on Export to Excel. So this is a good tool to use if you need to look at your pipeline of registrations in an easy to navigate way. All right. So if we go back to the slide deck and finish up with this video tutorial, we do have a lot of helpful resources for VMware deal registration, such as the deal registration guide, an FAQ, as well as our program terms and conditions. All of that can be found on the Broadcom partner portal. We also have this deal registration video tutorial posted. And then we do have a Okta user registration guide that can be found on the portal as well to help with access. And then if you have any support issues or questions, feel free to reach out to partner.helpdesk@broadcom.com or reach out to your partner account director. So that is the end of our video tutorial. Thank you for taking the time and interest to listen in. And as always, thank you for your partnership.